She stood in the dim corner of the diner, her hands red from scrubbing, her back aching from another 12-hour shift. The clatter of plates, the smell of grease, and the low hum of conversations blended into a blur she barely noticed anymore. To the customers, she was just the girl who wiped down tables and brought coffee refills. But to herself, she was a girl barely holding her life together, piecing each day one shift at a time. Her name was Clara, and she carried a loneliness that no one seemed to notice. It was close to midnight when she bent over yet another sticky table, her rags soaked, her body screaming for rest. Most of the diner had cleared out, except for a man sitting in the corner booth with a little girl. Clara recognized Emma. They had been coming in more often lately. The man had kind eyes, though they always looked tired, and the little girl had a smile that seemed too bright for someone so young. Tonight, as Clara approached to clear their plates, the man looked up at her, hesitated for a moment, then asked something that froze her in her tracks. "Do you ever eat with anyone?" he asked softly. Clara blinked, unsure if she had heard him right. She forced a laugh, brushing it off. "No, I'm usually too busy cleaning up after everyone else." But the man didn't smile. His expression was gentle, serious, even a little sad. "I can see that," he said, "but you shouldn't always be alone. My daughter was just saying you look lonely." Clara turned toward the little girl, who nodded shyly. "You can sit with us next time," she whispered. The words hit Clara like a tidal wave. For months she had worked in silence, invisible, feeling as though she was drifting through life with no anchor. And now, a child, an innocent stranger, had seen what no one else had. Clara excused herself quickly, but in the back room, she fought tears she hadn't allowed herself to shed in years. The next evening, when they came again, Clara found herself drawn to their booth. She served them their meal, and when the little girl patted the seat beside her, Clara hesitated only a second before sitting down. For the first time in so long, she let herself be part of a conversation. They talked about simple things as school projects, favorite foods, silly jokes, but for Clara, it felt like breathing after being underwater too long. Over the next few weeks, a quiet friendship began. The man's name was Daniel, and his daughter was Lily. He was a single father, working 2 jobs to keep their small apartment and pay for Lily's needs. Life hadn't been kind to him either. His wife had passed away 2 years earlier, and since then, every day had been a struggle. Yet despite his hardships, he always found time to smile at his daughter, to encourage her, to make her feel safe. Clara admired that. And slowly, she began to share her own story. She told him about leaving home at 18 to escape a broken family, about how she had been working ever since, never finishing college, never having anyone to lean on. She confessed that sometimes she felt like life was passing her by while she was stuck wiping tables. Daniel listened, not with pity, but with understanding. "You're not stuck," he told her one evening. "You're just at the beginning. Don't let yourself believe this is all there is." But challenges were never far. Clara's boss noticed she was spending more time talking to Daniel and less time rushing through chores. One night, after catching her laughing with Lily, he pulled her aside. "If you're here to make friends, you can do it somewhere else," he snapped. "I need workers, not dreamers." Clara felt the sting of those words, the familiar reminder that she was replaceable, invisible. She thought about quitting, but fear gripped her, a fear of losing her only income, fear of slipping even further. For days, she kept her distance from Daniel and Lily, afraid her boss's warning would come true. Yet every time she passed their booth and saw Lily's disappointed eyes, something inside her broke. One night, Daniel noticed. After she dropped off their check in silence, he followed her to the counter. "Don't let anyone make you feel small," he said firmly. "You're worth more than this job. You've got a heart, Clara. That's more than most people in this world." His words lit something inside her. She realized she didn't want to spend the rest of her life cleaning tables and apologizing for existing. She wanted more education, stability, maybe even a family someday. That night, she went home and dug out an old notebook where she had once written dreams she thought were impossible. One of them had been to study nursing. She had loved the idea of helping people, of giving comfort, but she had buried it under years of exhaustion. With Daniel's encouragement, Clara enrolled in night classes. It wasn't easy as she worked the diner shifts by day and studied late into the night. There were moments she wanted to give up, moments when the stress was too much, but Daniel and Lily became her cheerleaders. Lily would bring her drawings that said, "Go Clara, you can do it." And Daniel often stayed up with her, quizzing her on terms while sipping coffee. Months turned into years, and slowly, Clara transformed. She wasn't just a tired girl scrubbing tables anymore. She was a student, a woman fighting for her future. She still worked at the diner, but now she carried herself differently, as stronger, more hopeful. Her boss noticed, too, though he never admitted it. When Clara finally graduated, Daniel and Lily were there in the front row, clapping the loudest. Afterward, Lily ran up and hugged her. "You're not lonely anymore," she whispered. Clara's eyes filled with tears because it was true. She wasn't. What started with a simple question at a diner table had changed everything. Clara realized that sometimes, all it takes is one person noticing you, one person believing in you, to change the entire course of your life. And for her, that person had been a tired single dad and his little girl. The diner was still there. The tables still needed cleaning. But Clara no longer saw them as a cage. They had been the beginning of her freedom, the place where her story started to shift. She had found hope, love, and family in the most unexpected corner. And she carried one powerful truth with her. You never know when one small act of kindness can save someone's life.